obviously, if it's happening in America, it's definitely happening in Europe, or it's definitely happening, elsewhere.
I
Australia,
don't
things like that.
know. I don't feel like other companies or the other countries have as much focus on race as America. We're very race
You
centric.
think so? You think because other countries are they've been through so much other shit, like the race is the last thing to worry about?
Yeah, I just don't think there's as much focus on it. They're just worried about other stuff. They don't care as much. It might be like it might be that it's just in the back of their heads rather than in the front of their like
Yeah,
top
but
of
I
mind.
mean, see, I feel like in UK it's a different story. I remember UK having a lot of anti-Asian hate crime going up, during coronavirus time. I remember seeing an article about this. Um, I mean, I'm not saying it is everywhere. I'm just saying like in different countries, I'm sure they've probably gone through a similar situation.
I'm sure like there's uh I'm sure it's there. Like you can
Yeah,
find events, but I feel
yeah,
like in America it just there was so much more of it
of
um
course.
that
Yeah.
happened. And I want to put I think that it's because of our like how race centric we are as as a
Well,
country.
definitely a little bit more race-centric for sure, because how we focus on that so much, and
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. You would think the United States is more united.
United States, yeah. No, our states are
Yeah.
united, our people are not. That's how it
Every
works.
we're not, I guess. The irony behind that.
I don't know. Yeah, you're probably right. I think I've also heard of stuff that's happened internationally.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, it's definitely less. Do you see do you see like the Chinese getting hate from other Asians in Asia?
Probably 100% sure. I definitely see that. They can start blaming each other in a sense, right? And that's easy to do. But I feel like nowadays, because we're so blended, there's more from outside of Asia than just the Asian within Asians. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm, okay, you think so?
yeah, yeah.
I just know
But
there's a lot of divide between
I mean,
different
there's a
Asians.
lot of divides already in terms of different wealth gap in Asia within Asians. That's for sure. 100% sure.
Sure.
You
Yeah.
know, and also now that they're adding more to this, where like, oh, okay, cool, because this happened in the northern China, in a sense that you think the southern Chinese people blaming on the northern Chinese, hey,
Oh, do you
this,
guys have hate inside China too?
yeah, in a
Oh
sense, like, think about it.
wow. Okay.
So think about it, like the northern people feel like they're more educated and some things like that, they're more sophisticated supposedly than the southern Chinese folk, because at the end of the day, back in the days, southern China was more farmer style in a sense, right?
Okay.
More country life.
Yeah.
So
See, I
eh,
didn't know that. I didn't know that there was divides within Asia or
yeah,
within China. Like I
yeah.
knew that like oh, Vietnamese people or like the
And
Koreans
the
and
darker color
Japanese
you
and
are, the more supposedly lower class you are.
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean, or it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to me being an Asian, knowing that stereotype
yeah,
as well. Um,
yeah,
just being in the culture. But yeah, like I know, like the different nieces, they don't like each other, right? They just like they have
yeah.
beef all the time with each other. So it's I was wondering like if over there right now they're like, oh, these Chinese people are coming over spreading coronavirus to us. They have hate against those people as well, or if it's
Oh,
just
I'm
like,
pretty sure if you think about it. But if you think about it, let's say for example, like Singapore, right? A lot of Chinese descent there. Um,
oh, Singaporeans don't like the Chinese that came to
no, of course
Singapore.
not.
They
Of
hate them.
course not. Of course not.
They're just like, oh, these rich Chinese people just come over and take over our country. I
Yeah,
guess that's what it is.
it really is like that. I mean, and there's a huge. I'm sure there's a lot of hate crimes over there situation within themselves, right? Uh, it's the same exact thing where you see, Chinese people go to Japan. It's the same
Hmm.
exact thing. Like there's a hate there already as well. So
But I think it's also like I think COVID specifically isn't like increasing that hate because they've all been through all of these like pandemics before.
correct.
So like there might be a little spike, but like I feel like they all are just like, oh, we have another pandemic, let's get through it. Over here, we're like, oh, this one pandemic that Chinese people brought over is making us shut down uh for for a year, right? Like so far it's a year, right? Like
Yeah.
it
But
seems
people
more.
people people need to understand though. The first scare was the first. Remember, it was SARS. the SARS virus, and this is another strand of SARS. Is what it is. People don't understand that COVID is another strand of SARS. We've gone through a SARS. They're in China. They've gone through a SARS scary.
Yeah,
You
they've
know what I mean?
gone through multiple pandemics already, like
Yeah.
throughout Asia.
And at that big of a population, you can't prevent that. In a sense. It's hard to prevent that. So they know how to react to it. I feel like there's a stronger reaction in America or in countries who have not been to a pandemic before and how to react. They
Yeah,
don't have the resources to react. They don't have you know, the not only resources but also there's just the money to react to it and the education how to react to it.
they don't have the toilet paper to react to it. Like
Yeah,
it's just nothing works the way it's supposed to once the
yeah.
pandemic happened.